Hi, welcome to this video. I'm Chris Burt. I'm the CB in CBCDs. And Brian Wilson died a few days ago. And I've seen a lot of things on YouTube about it, people talking about it. I saw Sting play play a song, God Only Knows. And then I saw, of course, Paul McCartney has mentioned numerous times that's his favorite Brian Wilson song, God Only Knows. And and then I even saw like another video. I forget he's a big YouTuber, but he does interviews in the space on his name. The guy with the slick back white hair, guitar player. He was interviewing some guy. I should have wrote this down. But and he was saying, "Oh, that's a perfect song." It's they were it was just a clip of the interview, one of those shorts, and he said, "God Only Knows" is a perfect song. It's the guy that he works with Radiohead, I think. The guy that was being interviewed, Rick Beato. Rick Beato was the station. Anyway, so I just wanted to. I've been thinking about it a lot because it's always sort of bugged me that everybody seems to like God Only Knows so much. I don't think it's one. I don't even think it's the best song on Pet Sounds. And I actually just listened to Pet Sounds on the way home from work today, and it is a really good album. It's been a while since I listened to it all the way through, but and when I got to God Only Knows, it is a good song. I'm not gonna, but I think it's really overrated. I don't. It's just the kind of the go-to. It seems to me almost like when people say, "Oh, Brian Wilson, yeah, he wrote God Only Knows," and it's almost like, are you really a fan of, or are you just saying, is that the first song that comes to mind? Like there was, I was listening to a call-in show. I don't know, it must have been a podcast. This was a few years ago, but they were interviewing Ben Folds, and they had call-ins, people, and everybody was mentioning the same song. I think it was Breaker. But it's like he's got a wide, discography. It just seems like surface fans, a little bit. And so yeah, I've seen so many people mention God Only Knows. So I just have a list. I'm gonna try to go through quick of songs that I think are much better. I mean, even on Pet Sounds, I think "Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder" I think is a great song. I think that one of the interviews I just recently saw, a snippet of the interview that they had with Paul McCartney talking about God Only Knows, was that he was really touched by the song when he first heard it, and by God Only Knows. But to me, yeah, "Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder" is much more. I relate to that more. Like I've had, um, yeah, like that speaks to my experience a little bit more, I guess. But even like I'm waiting for the day. Let's see. I know there's an answer here today. Here today is great. I think both. Oh, and definitely Caroline No. That's on my list. Caroline No. Um, I didn't really rank them, but I got 10 songs here, so I'll just jump in. But so I'll start. Yeah, it's not really ranked, but in my room, maybe I'll start. In my room is yeah. I always liked that. I think it's a really, like, that to me is pretty close to a perfect song. It's simple and, but yeah, good. What my number one, I think, if I had to rank all of, if I did rank them, the one that impresses me, like, I think is a really great song. Do I have the? It's on this album here. One of the early ones. This is their second album, but "The Lonely Sea" is Brian Wilson, and it's simple, but it's got like a little. It's still got some complexities in it. Like because it's really easy to play, but you do have to, like, I don't know the terms because I'm sort of self-taught on the guitar, but it sort of modulates, might be the right word, but it does, like, um, it doesn't really change key, but it does. You have to go from, it changes in kind of a more than just a verse chorus verse. there's a little bit of play in there. And that's the thing about God Only Knows, is it's not even the lyrics aren't good. I mean, Lonely Sea is kind of a basic lyric, but the lyrics of God Only Knows, he says, I may not always love you, but as long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. So it's a weird, if you think about what is he saying? He's saying, well, I might not always love you, but I'll convince you that I love you. It's a weird lyric. And then he's just saying, oh, if you ever left me, I'd kill myself, basically, right? Um, God only knows what I'd do. And it's just two verses, and then the ba ba ba. Even the ba ba ba's, like I know a lot of people that don't like the Beach Boys complain about the the barbershop quartet sort of aspect to them, or the screechy kind of Bee Gees type vocals a little, but anyway, so yeah, Lonely Sea is definitely I think a better song than God Only Knows. Surfs Up is another great one. He wrote this in 66, probably. He wrote it maybe 67, but he wrote it during the Smile sessions, and it didn't show up, I think, on an album until 72 or 73, the Surfs Up album. But and the lyrics are by Van Dyke Parks, but that's a much better song. Again, it Surfs Up. Cabanescence is another one of my favorites. It's again from the Smile sessions, and there's a lot of different versions and sort of arrangements of it, because he never really finished it until, I think it was on 2020, the album 2020, which came out in like 69. But in the Smile sessions that came out like 10 years ago or so, there's a few different arrangements of that, and I think that's a great song. Caroline No, I guess I sort of mentioned. I think that is, I read a book by I got this right here, the same guy that wrote this book, Peter Ames Carlin. He wrote a book about a biography of who we're talking about here, Brian Wilson, and I read it probably 15 years ago, or more. But one of the things that I always sort of remember from that was that Brian didn't like the lyrics that he came up with, and Till I Die. I guess I haven't mentioned Till I Die, but that's another one. He wrote the lyrics to that, and the lyrics are great in that. It's just two verses, but I think he's a good lyricist. The lyrics that he came up with on Caroline No, if my memory is right, again, it's been 10, 15 years, at least closer to 15 years since I read this book. But it said that Brian's lyric was Carol. It was about Carol Mountain, was this girl he knew in high school, and he had written, Carol, I know Carol, like I get it, is and then they changed. And then when he was working with Asher, right? What's his name? Tony? Is it just Tony Asher? The guy that he wrote the lyrics with on Pet Sounds. They changed it to Caroline No, like because he's kind of lamenting. It's the final song, and he's like lamenting, like. But I think the lyric "Carol, I know" is so much better. Like, where did your long hair go? Where, oh, what happened? He's like, I get it. I the same thing happened to me. Like, we're older now. Things didn't work out the way. Where did your long hair go? Where's the girl I used to know? How did you lose that happy glow? Oh, Carol, I know. I think it's such a better lyric. But so yeah, I think he underrated himself, and he was obviously a little sensitive, and had mental issues, but that's another another thing. But so let's go over. So I've got The Lonely Sea, Surfs Up, Cabanescence, Caroline No. Country Air is on one of my favorite albums, Beach Boy albums. This one here. Listened to this a lot when my dad had this, Wild Honey. Country Air, the lyrics are from Mike Love on that, and that's 67, like December 67, after the Smile debacle. But and getting back to just some more basic songs. But Country Air is a great, I think better than God Only Knows, a great song. Don't Worry Baby, I've always really loved that. I think that's him doing his Phil Spector. There's a big obvious Phil Spector influence in that song. Um, Don't Worry Baby, The Little Girl I Once Knew, I think is great. I think John Lennon mentioned that, had some praise of that song. Um, if I remember right. But I like how it stops. I think that's a good. See, there's no cleverness like that in God Only Knows. There's no lyrical real cleverness. There's no like, and it's not like a gimmick. They don't need a gimmick necessarily. But the song is saying, where the little girl that I once knew, how did she? All of a sudden, she's like, and that pause, and then the little girl I once knew, the little girl, and so it's like a it adds the emphasis of it's like because the song is about like realizing, whoa, she's not a little girl anymore. She's all grown up. Or so, but yeah, I think that's a great song. Help Me Rhonda, the same. It's like a good chorus. It's like a sing along type song. I think Help Me Rhonda is a great like, and how they this is 64 maybe. Is Help Me Rhonda? No, it's probably 65. But I mean, they had little tricks which maybe are gimmicky, but I think it adds to the song, I guess, a little bit. You know how they kind of go, the volume goes up and down towards the end, and then and just the chantiness, the kind of everybody sing along. Help me Rhonda, help me Rhonda. Till I Die I mentioned, and then In My Room. Those are the 10 I came up with. I could probably come up with a lot more because as I started thinking about this and writing it down, a ton of songs came to mind. So anyway, to me, God Only Knows, it is a good song. As I was listening to it a half hour or so ago on my way home, I was thinking, well, yeah, it is. Maybe I judge it too harshly because but it is good, but I think it is overrated. I think these songs are better. I think there's 4 or 5 songs at least on Pet Sounds alone that are better. And yeah, so Brian Wilson is dead, and I guess that's all I wanted to say. He was the Beach Boys were a big, like, there's a lot, I just have a lot of memories with my dad was a big Beach Boys fan, had a lot of Beach Boys records. They were 70s represses, and so to me, the Beach Boys were more, I always identified them with the shaggy 70s look more than I did the kind of, well, they were always kind of nerdy, but like the pinstripes or the whatever, the stripes, the kind of, anyway, they never had a really good, they were never very cool, and I guess that's kind of why I relate to Brian Wilson. He wasn't cool. Like, I've never had that thing, that I was never able to be cool. Like, I just don't have that. And I think as far as just my assessment or my yeah, I feel like, because his that's the thing about his, people say that a lot about him too, was his lyrics are sort of he has these mopey or kind of sad introspective lyrics over really happy music. And see, and that's not even, God Only Knows isn't even an example of that. It's just and I do, most of my favorite songs are in minor keys. It's like, this is a minor key, but it's got a minor lyric, like, oh, what would I do without you? And it's almost like as long as they're like, it sounds like an abusive. As I was listening to the whole thing, I've never really got I know there is it's supposed to be like a theme album, right, or a story goes through, but because anyway, I won't go into this, but I was trying to interpret it on the drive home, and it's like, there are 2 guys in this situation? It's like a love triangle, right? And then she chooses one because he's like don't, when he's like, don't put your head on my shoulder, don't talk, put your head on my shoulder. And then another voice comes in like, you didn't think that I would sit around and let him take you. And so it's like, oh, there is like a love triangle. Anyway, whatever the story is, but there's much better songs than God Only Knows, in my opinion, my humble opinion. And I was gonna say R.I.P. Brian Wilson, but that's no, but that's all I have to say. All right, thanks a lot for watching. We'll talk to you later.